Hey, welcome to Craft Central Designs. My name is Dwynn. I have for you today this beautiful coastal centerpiece in soft, warm colors with beautiful natural seashells and a candle for soft, cozy lighting for your dinner table. This is one of 3 centerpieces of a coastal theme I will be sharing with you, so please watch for those in upcoming videos. Welcome back to my subscribers and to newcomers to my channel as well. If you are new here, I hope you will consider subscribing. I have lots more coastal decor in store for you, as well as some fabulous wreaths I am very excited to share with you in future videos. If you like what you see on my channel, please hit the thumbs up button and leave me your comments in the comment box and tell me what you think of this coastal centerpiece. I love receiving your comments, and if you have questions, please feel free to include those as well. Okay, let's get busy putting together this really lovely coastal centerpiece. Do you recognize the napkin ring there? We made those in previous video. It makes a beautiful, beautiful tablescape. Okay, let's look at the items we need to make this centerpiece. This is the smaller wreath frame from Dollar Tree. I believe it's 8 inches. I did give it a light coat of paint just because I didn't want to see any of that green wire showing through the burlap that we're going to be placing on there. I have this beautiful glass piece that I picked up at Home Goods. Home Goods is a great place to pick up glassware for centerpieces such as this, where you're going to be placing candles or some type of shell arrangement. And I picked up some sand at Dollar Tree. And yes, I have plenty of sand on my beach, but my beach on the Atlantic Ocean side, and we have more of the brown sand, not like the white sand on the west coast of Florida. And I wanted white sand for this arrangement. I picked up those 2 rolls of burlap at Walmart. I ended up only using 1. And I have an assortment of shells. Now, shells are extremely easy to find on Amazon or a shell shop if you happen to live in a coastal area where you can find that kind of thing. But also, sometimes you can find shells at Home Goods. You can find shells at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. It's not difficult to find beautiful shells if you set your mind to searching for them. So I have quite an assortment of shells here of all shapes and sizes: starfish, clam shells, sand dollars, different shapes and sizes of sand dollars, and as well starfish, from very tiny to larger. These, you've seen me use these before if you follow my channel. Absolutely love those shells. I picked those up on Amazon. Anything that I picked up on Amazon or otherwise at a store, I will have all that in the description box. Those little candles there I picked up at Dollar Tree. They have nice little candles at Dollar Tree. You're going to need some pipe cleaners, and we are going to be making little burlap scrunches to place on that wreath frame. I'm going to be making a bow, and I'm going to use this soft, beautiful off-white burlap from Michael's, and that starfish ribbon, which I got on Amazon, but they have it at Hobby Lobby too. These are some little tiny shells that I picked up at Dollar Tree. I absolutely love these little shells. I'm actually in search of them right now. I haven't been able to find them at Dollar Tree. That little tool there with the little hook on it, that's fantastic for pulling your burlap and fraying out your burlap, but also for arranging your shells inside of your glass container. We're going to cut these sections of burlap in 6-inch pieces. I cut my pipe cleaners in thirds. I only need a very small piece of pipe cleaner. And we're going to lay that piece of burlap down and just scrunch it with your fingers. Gather it up. Pinch it tight in the middle. And you're going to wrap your pipe cleaner around there. We're going to do burlap pieces that are going to go on that wreath ring, and they're in 6-inch pieces, 5 pieces per section, and there are 3 sections on that wreath frame. So we're going to be doing 15 scrunches of burlap. Now, at the moment that I was doing this, I could not find my little hook tool that I love so much. That's absolutely fantastic for fraying out your edges of your burlap, and I found it. It's just a little sharp pick. I believe I might have gotten this at Dollar Tree. Anyway, fray out my edges a little bit. I like them nice and frayed for this piece that I'm creating. We're going to be scrunching up those burlap pieces and placing them on that wreath frame, as you will see in a bit. And of course, we're going to be making a bow. Actually, 2 bows. Now, if you have not followed my channel, you may want to look in my list of videos and find the video on how to make a triple ribbon bow. Also, just do the basic one, how to make a bow. I have a very specific way that I make my bows, and this is not a bow tutorial here, although I'm showing you what I'm doing. I have videos that are very slow and methodical and really break it down and explain it to you very well so that you can learn how to make these bows. I'm making a triple ribbon bow for each side of that candle coastal arrangement. So I'm doing a 3-loop bow on each side, or 6 loops altogether. This is my base of my bow, and this is a 1.5-inch ribbon. I absolutely love this ribbon. It's a beautiful off-white burlap, and I got this is a Celebrate ribbon from Michaels. So I've just created my base. Now, this is a different ribbon. This isn't even a wired ribbon. You can mix it up. You can do anything you like with a bow, just like I do. Okay, I'm doing 3 loops on each side. This is this great ribbon that I picked up on Amazon. I'll put it in the description box. I absolutely love it. It's a very lightweight burlap. I believe it's 1/2 inch, maybe. Or perhaps a little bit more than that. I'm not really sure. But you can see it's a smaller width ribbon. I absolutely love this ribbon. And I am placing it as right on top of that base. It's going to be sandwiched in between that white or off-white burlap ribbon and this Starfish ribbon, which is very appropriate for this coastal centerpiece. I'm going to be doing the same type of bow. This is going to be the top tier of that triple ribbon bow. 3 loops on each side. I am making these loops just a tiny bit smaller than the other loops. Now I have 3 loops on each side. I make my bows very fast in actualities, but like I said, if you would like to see how I make these bows very slowly, please refer to my videos. You will be very happy you did if you learn how to make bows like this. Okay, this is a 3 loop on each side, or 6 loops altogether, and then 1 single loop right down the center, as you can see there. And I cut my ribbon off from the spool, give it a twist. I'm going to feed it right through that center loop, pull it down, marry up the tails, and we have the top tier of our triple ribbon bow. And this is beautiful for a coastal decor piece. I used this on my my Burlap Starfish. It was very popular. You all really loved that Starfish. Thank you for your comments. Okay, so now we're going to stack this bow. So all of those tiers are married up into one bow. And you cannot see it that I'm doing this, but I am pressing very, very firmly right in the center to press all of those layers together to make one bow. I'm putting my pipe cleaner right down the center of that single loop in the middle. I have my tails separated. I bring it around the back, holding very, very tightly until I have it secured with my pipe cleaner. And now we have our triple ribbon bow. And of course, as I said, we're going to need 2 of these. So you just repeat that. And we can determine how short or long we want to leave our tails once we get those bows on the piece. But I really like these more narrow ribbons because I like to have that ability to curl and coil my ribbons if I want to. So I leave them long until I'm actually ready to apply them and determine how I want those tails to be. All right, so I have all of my scrunches applied. I put everything on the center ring in that wreath form. I attached it in the back by twisting the little pipe cleaner right to the wreath form. Now in the center, after I pulled back all my burlap scrunches, I could see those pipe cleaners through there, and that was really bothering me. So I didn't want to be able to see them through the glass vase or just to see them at all. So I took out a piece of burlap. Well, Dollar Tree has had some white, off-white burlap in the past weeks, and I had picked some up, and it's coming in very handy now. So I cut out a circle the same size as the wreath frame. I had an extra wreath frame, fortunately, so I was able to just trace around it. And now what I want to do is place that piece of burlap inside of that wreath frame. And that is going to hide those pipe cleaners as well as the wires of that wreath frame. So what I did was I placed it inside of there, and I went around with a hot glue gun and a finger protector. As you can see, I have there nothing like burns from a burlap, hot gluing burlap. You can really get burnt like that. So I just went around on the inside and put glue in hot glue in small sections, pressed it up against the burlap pieces, and it didn't have to be perfect inside there. I just wanted to create something to conceal the pipe cleaners and the wreath wire. And I go ahead and I pull my burlap pieces back because my glass container is going to fit inside of there. I also cut out another circle of burlap because I wanted to finish the bottom of that piece. It looked rather messy with all of those pipe cleaners. So I cut out a piece of burlap and I hot glued that to the bottom just to give it a more finished look. Now I'm applying those beautiful triple ribbon bows, and fortunately pipe cleaners, you can poke through burlap rather easily. You could see there that I finished the bottom with a circle of burlap. It's a little bit tricky pulling the pipe cleaners through there, but you can do it. You could poke them right through the burlap. And I'm going to pull that nice and tight and give a twist to those pipe cleaners in the back or the underside. And those bows are going to be placed directly across from one another on the piece. I am going to be angling the tails of my ribbons, which I'll show you shortly. So I go ahead and I just shape my bow a little bit because I'm going to be doing a little application of tiny shells in a bit, and I want to see exactly where I'm going to be placing those. So now I have my two bows on, and I have the glass container in the middle, and now I'm going to apply. I didn't have much of this left, but I had enough to do 3 little pieces on each side or in between those bows. So I like the effect of this ribbon. I got this at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be putting 3 pieces. I cut 6 inches. I took a little tiny pipe cleaner, put it down, scrunched the center, and now I'm going to just place that in the burlap. It gives a little added texture to the piece. It's a little difficult to see there because everything kind of blends, but when you see the finished product in person, you can really see how it adds a very nice touch to the piece. I just hot glued those down in there. And now I have my white sand. I used 2 bags of sand, and again, this was from Dollar Tree. I think sometimes they even have the more brownish colored sand. But like I said, I wanted to do white for this piece. I often like to use white sand for coastal centerpieces. So I go ahead and I put my candle in there. And I'm trying to find the wick there. I ended up having to look for it later using my little pointy tool. Now I am going to start placing my shells. Now this is just like when you're doing an arrangement, as far as I'm concerned, like a floral arrangement. I look for my largest pieces first, and then everything else I'm going to create around those large pieces. Now I happen to have this beautiful white clam shell, and that's going to be my focal point and my largest piece. And see how I place it between the 2 bows? Now I'm going to look for my other large elements, such as this starfish. And I'm going to start placing the shells that I'm going to use in this arrangement. Now you do you. It's you use what you like. There's just so many beautiful shells out there to choose from. I have a little starfish there. How much or how little you use is of course up to you. I like an assortment. I like to include different varieties of shells. And I also placed in my centerpiece a sand dollar, actually 2 different sizes of sand dollars. One was 2 inches, another one was smaller, maybe 1.5 inches. And I also placed some other types of shells in there, smaller ones than the the largest that I put in there. And there's my little pointy tool. Very handy for when you're doing a sand and shell arrangement inside of a glass container. Sometimes it's difficult to get your hand down in there, and you can use that little tool to shift your shells around. It works fantastically. And I'm still selecting my shells there. It's good to have them all laid out. As a beautiful one, but probably too big to put in there. So I had to make my decisions as I went along, what would look best. And there's those beautiful clamshells that I got on Amazon. Again, I will list any type of shells that I purchased on Amazon. I will link the store that I purchased them, as well as any other pertinent information regarding this centerpiece. Now I'm putting in a little tiny starfish for my small elements. If you drop something down in there and you have difficulty getting it out, a tweezer works really well as well. So you might want to try that. I have several different tweezers, some with really long handle. They're very handy to have when you're crafting, especially with a shell arrangement. Sometimes it's difficult to get your hand down inside of the glass container. Now I have these little tiny shells you may recognize from Dollar Tree. Now I am going to take these tiny shells and place them randomly around the arrangement in the burlap. This looks really beautiful. Difficult to see right at the moment, but perhaps you noticed it when you were looking at the intro video, but these add a really exquisite touch to this piece. These very tiny little shells. I place a tiny dab of glue and I just press them to the burlap, and it really dresses up that burlap, and it looks just so pretty. Sometimes the smallest touches can make such a great difference in your piece. And I think this was just a great touch. These shells are very, very small. So they just sit on the burlap, and they're very lightweight. And here we have the finished centerpiece with the candle. It's absolutely beautiful. Can you see the little tiny shells in the burlap? And the beautiful ribbon. Oh my goodness, the beautiful bow. Look how gorgeous this is. So pretty. If you like what you see on my channel, please subscribe. And until next time,